Hey, Jeannie here with Rooted in Love Urban Homestead. Thanks for hanging out with me a bit today. We're going to talk about how to make an elderberry tincture. So the elderberry is an immune boosting herb. To use this herb, you want to take it at the beginning of a cold or flu, or you want to take it as a preventative measure to boost your immune system. So today we're going to talk about how to make a tincture, which is shelf stable. I also make a syrup. Here's what's left of my syrup from this winter. Syrups last about 12 weeks in the refrigerator, and I don't take a tincture every day of elderberry or take syrup every day of elderberry. So I don't really want to make elderberry syrup to keep in my refrigerator when I don't use it that often, especially in the summer months, now that we're getting into summer. So I'm going to switch to making a tincture, which is shelf stable. So if by chance I get a cold or the flu, then I can reach for my tincture and it will be ready for me to use. You want to make sure before you start using any herb medicinally that you check with your healthcare provider and go over any medications and any health conditions you may have to make sure this is right for you. Okay, so let's start making our tincture. So I'm going to use a pint-sized jar, which is 16 ounces filled all the way to the top. It's 12 ounces here. Make sure that you label your jar with what is in it and the date you made it. So the things you're going to need to make this elderberry tincture are dried elderberries, and I get my elderberries from Mountain Rose Herbs. They are organic. It's a great company. I put a link below if you want to order from them. And because I don't have an elderberry bush, nor do I have a lot of freezer space to freeze them, which is the best way to store them until you're ready to use them, the berries. If you do have an elderberry bush and you're going to harvest them, you want to wait until about September in the fall when the berries are nice and ripe and just ready to go. That will yield the most potent medicine. You never want to use the red elderberries. Red elderberries are toxic, so do not use those. Always use the black elderberries. So to make this tincture, you need dried elderberries, you need 100 proof vodka, and a glass jar, and that's it, and something to label the top with. So the recipe for the tincture is 1 part dried herb, in this case elderberry, to 5 part vodka. Again, that's 1 part dried herb to 5 parts vodka. Now, because of the size of my jar, I'm going to double that. So I have 2 ounces of dried elderberries, and I have 10 ounces of vodka. 100 proof vodka is what I'm using. So to make tinctures, it's so simple. It just takes time because they need to sit for 4 to 6 weeks. So here we go. Take your clean, sterilized, empty jar, glass jar with a lid, and you're going to pour in, made a little bit of a mess, but you're going to pour in your elderberries. Now, once they're poured in, you want to take your vodka and just cover the elderberries with vodka. Now, you see that I have a little bit of space here, and I'm going to err on the side of caution and go ahead and fill up my jar to the top with the vodka. It's not much. It won't affect the medicinal properties as much, but it's better to have your jar just about full than to leave a bunch of airspace in your jar. So you want to make sure you go ahead and fill that up to the top. Now at this point, you can just put the lid on. Now I have just a little bit of space here, so the very top alcohol is not touching the metal. So I'm not going to put a piece of parchment paper. If you fill it way up, you may want to put a piece of parchment paper or wax paper just so it doesn't contaminate and start to erode the metal. The vodka doesn't start to erode the metal. But I'm not going to do that because mine's not going all the way to the top. So the next thing you do is you just put your lid on and you shake it up. And there you have the beginnings of an elderberry tincture. So what you're going to want to do from here is you're going to want to place it in a cool, dark spot out of direct sunlight for 4 to 6 weeks. And you're going to want to shake it daily. If you're like me, you forget to shake it daily because you're not looking in that cabinet. But just shake it as often as you remember and try to do it as close to daily as you can. But we're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking for best practices. I don't have a tincture made to show you exactly how to bottle a tincture, but I'm going to walk you through the steps so you know. Let's pretend this has been sitting for 4 to 6 weeks. So I've taken it out of my cabinet. I'm going to shake it up one more time. And I have a glass bowl with a spout. I have a metal sieve and I have a spoon. So what you would do is you would take the lid off and you would pour the entire contents through the sieve into your bowl. Once you do that, you're going to want to press down either with a cheesecloth or the back of a spoon. And you're going to want to make sure you get every last good drop out of that tincture into the bowl. So you press down and then you can discard this. You will have your tinctured elderberry in the bowl, and you will want to get an amber dropper bottle or an amber bottle of some kind, and you will probably use a funnel, but then you'll just pour your tinctured elderberries into your dropper bottle. Put the dropper back in, and you want to make sure that you label this elderberry tincture so you know what it is and it's ready to go in your medicinal herb cabinet. So here are a couple of precautions you want to take. Make sure, number one, as we've already discussed, that you only use black elderberries. Do not use red, they are toxic. Also, elderberries are not recommended for pregnant women or women who are nursing. And if you have an autoimmune disorder, it is not recommended that you take elderberry for any length of time. And again, please just check with your healthcare provider. As you see, it's very easy to make a tincture, and I hope by walking through this with you, you're able to make one for your household. May all you do be rooted in love. If you are having an onset of illness, let's say you feel like a cold's coming on or a flu, you're just not feeling well, some kind of virus, then you want, again, 2 dropper fulls, and you want to up that to 3 times a day instead of 1 time a day.